born down below, on that little road below Sailborn. That when I was born at home, back in those days. Born in 1947, January the 28th. My parents were Albert and Berkeley Bradley. And my father originally came from Pontotoc. My mother was raised up around cotton plant.
Do you know who delivered you?
I think it was Miss Kate Siddell.
Okay. She delivered a lot of people.
Yes, she did.
So the community you grew up, what would you call the community where you grew up?
Well, I grew up in what they call the Shiloh community. Shiloh have a Methodist church down a little south coast.
Okay.
I grew up in that area.
Did you have any siblings?
I do. It's 8 of us. 3 girls, 5 boys. My oldest brother named Charles A. Bradley. My second brother is Alfred Lee Bradley. Then after him, we went to the girls. My oldest sister named, well, she was born a Bradley, but she Kathleen Bradley Brown now. My second sister named May Bradley. M-A-E Bradley. And my baby sister named Doris Bradley. And then after Doris, they went back to boys. That's where I come in. Because my name is Alfred Bradley. After me, there was Darrell Bradley. My baby brother's name is Larry Bradley. That's all of us, for the children. I'm not absolutely sure the year, but I know they had a school at Shiloh then. That's down below where the Pharaohs are now. You might know.
Is that, did you start like when you were about 4 years old with the...
I would say probably 4, maybe 5, I guess.
And then, how many years did you go to school there?
I'm not sure because we walked to school at first, and when we got the school bus, they switched us from Shiloh to Pleasant Grove. And I remember that was 3 rooms school. Miss Little Birdie was one of the teachers. Miss, I believe Miss Siddell, Mary Lou Siddell, and I think Miss Mavis taught down there for a while. I know Miss Mavis taught at Shiloh. That was, but I can't think of the year that was.
So you went a few years at Shiloh and then you moved over to Pleasant Grove?
Right.
And then that was through what grade?
Well, I went to Pleasant Grove until 8th grade.
Okay.
That's when we came to Ford, the consolidated school came.
Okay.
But I think my first company was still was UCTS, so I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It might have been Ford. I came up here in 61.
What year did you graduate from BF Ford?
I graduated in 65.
Tell me what your parents did.
Parents, they were farmers. My father was a farmer. He worked farm, and my mother, she did domestic housework. And later on, my dad slowed up on farm. He started working for Mr. Cruz. They ran the flower shop, and they had a little clown store at the side. Well, matter of fact, that building, this store, that building out there now, this new store they built. They had another store before then before that cleaning was a flower shop. They used to raise, and they used to do those arrangements that we see out in the cemetery today.
Where was that? Where was that shop, the flower shop?
Right beside where that J and B cleaner is now. There used to be a flower shop there.
Okay.
And they grew plants like you go by now.
Oh, they grew plants there too?
Right.
And your mom did work outside of the home,
She
even
did
with all of
domestic
her
work.
children?
She did, work, like cook and things, and iron for people.
Do you know if your parents went to school at Shiloh?
I don't know where my dad went to school at, but I know, and I don't know where my mom went to school at. Now, my older sibling may have known, but my mom graduated from high school after we had graduated. She went
Really?
to school, Mr. Bill the Golden taught that class. And that he did that in our church.
Wow. Who taught that class?
Mr. Bill the Golden, he passed away now, but the name was Billy Golden.
And he taught adults who had missed out on graduating?
Right. My mom had gone to 8th grade, and after we graduated, she went back, took that class in the school. I think that program was sponsored, might have been by Northeast. But anyway, she got up soon after that.
Do you know about what year that would have been?
I'm bad on dates.
After 1965, for sure.
Right. There were other children that lived in the community, but back then it wasn't too much playing around time. In our community, it was the Hickmans, the Bradleys, and there was some O'Neills, which was older than me, who came along more or less with my sisters and brothers. That lived down just before you, as a matter of fact, they owned the place where Mr. Farrell and them are now.
You said that y'all didn't have much time for playing around, so when you got out of school, what did you have to do?
Well, if it was in the summertime, when the cotton was in, you undressed, took them school clothes off, you went across the hill and picked some cotton.
What'd you do in the wintertime? What kind of chores did you have?
Chores, well, me and most people had wood burning, you had to get the wood and stuff like that. And we, by us being on the Alaska family, it kind of lightened the load on it, but if you get that chore, you don't know that somebody will take care of it for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. But one thing, where we come from, a faith believing family. One thing you're gonna do, you're gonna get along with your siblings. It wasn't no fussing, wasn't no fighting. You did your chores, then you did your homework. By us being on the last family, my last three brothers, me, Daryl, and Larry, our chores wasn't as quite as strenuous as my older brothers, because things had gotten a little better for the family. But we still had to, got things like, we had to wash dishes and clean, just like the girls did. And whatever season it was, if it was something doing outside the garden, we had to help with that. I even had to do a little bit of plowing, not enough to hurt my folks, but it just formed activity, country living, that's how it was.
And how did you get to be at Ford School?
Bus.
The bus. So do you remember who was your bus driver?
I do.
Who was that?
Mr. Vassal Watt drove us from home to Pleasant Grove, and also when we come to Ford, he was still the bus driver. His name was Mr. Vassal Watt.
Would he go around to, was it kind of a long bus ride? Would he go around to a lot of places to pick up kids?
He picked up the kids in Pleasant Grove and in Shiloh. He came to town.
And then dropped you off at
Right.
school. And I guess that's how you got home too.
Right.
Do you remember a lot of your teachers?
I think I remember all of them.
Tell me about some of the ones that really stand out to you.
Well, I think, Coach Kennedy, he was the basketball coach, but he was a man that kind of took to boys, he was my favorite. My second favorite, Mr. Clyde Estes. He was a math teacher, and I loved him. Also, Mr. John Darden, he was a science teacher. I think he taught biology. And Miss Fanny Turner was one of my teachers. She taught social studies. And also, a little later in high school, Mr. Rufus Hill taught me, and he was a biology teacher. Somewhere in there, we changed biology. And Miss Gibson, Miss Leola Gibson, was my English teacher. But the men teacher stood out a little more for me. Mr. Clyde Estes and Coach Kennedy especially.
Did you go on Miss Gibson's senior trip?
I did not. I was prepared to go. I got prepared to go, but when I grew up from 8 to after I married 20 at 22, I used to have severe hemorrhages from the nose. And prior to them leaving on that trip, the night before, my nose bled really, really, really bad. So my parents wouldn't let me go because they didn't know nobody knew how to handle my situation. But I had that all the way through high school. I just be sitting in class, my nose would bleed. I think I may have had somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 20 transfusions from the time I was 8 to 22.
Wow.
I
How
don't
did
know.
it stop?
I got a miracle healing from the Master on high. Because I went to every doctor they could afford to take me to. They ran my heritage down. Nobody could come up with why they would bleed. But I know it was a God healing that stopped it. Because I ain't bled 2 years after I married.
Did that condition prevent you from playing sports?
It did. They wouldn't let me play. I couldn't play.
Well, speaking of your faith, where did you go to church growing up?
Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church.
And who was your pastor?
At that time, Reverend W.C. Keys was a pastor. He's the pastor I was converted under.
Is that where you still go to church?
That's where I still go.
Okay.
We're in a different location, but I still Oak Grove always be my church home.
Uh-huh. And what is your well, I guess what was your involvement when you were young, when you were still in school, in the church? How did you participate in church?
Well, in those days, I was converted on a Monday night, first Sunday in August, when I was 9 years old. The following Sunday, Miss Osel Hiram told me, well, you gotta get up here and say your prayer. And I've been active here since the children's day when we sang speeches. And after I got some age on me, I was made a deacon when I was 20, I believe I'm 20, 22. And I've been serving on deacon board ever since. And I also served as treasurer. I'm still serving as treasurer. And matter of fact, I'm the chairman of the deacon board now. And I've been chairman of the deacon board for many years. They used to have what they call a tri-high-Y. And I was in the tri-high-Y. Every once in a while they take some trip. When I remember most, we took a trip to Laurel, Mississippi, in the Tri-High-Y.
Explain what that is.
Tri-High-Y was I did a little bit in the 4-H club, but Tri-High-Y was just a club kind of like for young people to participate in, and it worked kind of like similar to the 4-H club. Mr. Coach Kennedy and my oldest brothers were best friends. Mr. Kennedy would come out where my parents lived, and hunt with my brother then. And I thought it was, I kind of thought of him as what I want to say, as a mentor. See, he did things like hunting and fishing and stuff. My dad didn't do hunting and fishing, so we didn't get to participate in hunting and fishing. And he always would spend time with younger people. And kind of like a second father figure. And he took time with young boys. I kind of liked that. I always did like a teacher.
How old was your oldest sibling when the youngest sibling was born?
We have to do math on that. Older brother's 5. I remember correctly, he was 34. He was born in 34.
Well, okay, who's the baby again?
Larry.
What year was Larry born?
Larry born in 52.
So 52 minus 34, what's that? So that means the oldest one was 18 when the baby was born.
I think.
Does that sound about right?
It sounds close, but if you get something you got, you might want to delete. But I don't know the exact about my sister. I think she can tell me every child birthday,
Wow.
the year they were born in.
Yeah. How many of your siblings are still here with us?
5. I have 3 deceased.
Okay.
2 older brothers and my baby sister.
Okay. When did your parents pass away?
My mother passed in 08. She was 94. My dad, he passed in 75. Well, I remember Miss Ford getting on our case about not marching right.
Not keeping a straight line?
Right. And also, I was 65, and I was thinking about what I was gonna pursue first, and I volunteered for the Air Force.
You did?
I did.
So did that happen pretty fast after graduation?
We graduated in May, and I went to the Air Force in, I believe in June or July.
How long did you do that?
That's a portion, not, oh yeah. I told him I stayed in an hour and 15 minutes. Actually, I was still having those hemorrhages from the nose, and I couldn't do the basic training without bleeding a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in there probably 30 or 40 days. Well, I was in the hospital, so I had been in training probably almost 2 months, and I was in the hospital and had me all packed up. So one morning the sergeant come in there and said, "Boy, you want to go home?" And I told him, "Yes, sir." Well, I had never been with home anyway before that time. And after I, got back and kind of regrouped, I always wanted to be a barber. I told my parents I was born a barber. And after that, I can't think of the money, but I started going to school, Miss Foster Barber School, regular.
Now, who was your barber growing up?
The home barber. My oldest brother could cut hair. He cut while we were little. And then when after that, I think Willie cut my hair some, and just whoever could just give me.
Did your older brother teach you how to cut hair?
No,
No.
he was just born.
Was anybody else in your family a barber?
Not proud to me.
So how long does that take to finish?
Then he had put 1,500 hours in. then if you went full time, you could do it in 9 months.
Is that what you did?
That's what I did.
Did you have to, live up in Ripley, or did you get up there?
I lived on campus.
Okay, there was a campus there.
She had a, what we call a dorm. We stayed in the dorm.
About how many students were there with you?
When I went, I don't remember the exact, but I'm gonna say probably maybe 20 full time. She had some part time. You know, people that went part time.
So that was barbers, just
Well, it was
Men?
barbers and beauticians.
Okay, barbers and
She did both, barbers
Okay.
and cosmetology.
and so there was a dorm there.
Right. When I left barber school, Mr. Charlie Ray that ran the barber shop down here, Mr. Charlie Ray, Nate Waldrop, his name is Johnny Waldrop, his nickname is Nate. I took the chair that Mr. Charlie Ray retired from. There was a little shop outside here, just a small shop. But I started in there with Johnny Waldrop.
Now, where was that shop?
At that time, it was down by what we used to call the dugout. The dugout, right beside the pool room. The pool room was on the bottom floor. The dugout was upstairs. And the barber shop kind of down here. I think they probably had relocated the barber shop, pushed it off Main Street down, kind of down here. That's where I started. And then I count Mr. Nate Waldrop for who I am today.
Was he much older than you?
He was quite a bit older than
And so at that time, it was his barber shop?
me. Right.
He took it over?
Well, he was there when I came, so I guess he worked. I know he worked with Mr. Charlie Ray. I think Mr. Raven one owned the shop.
Okay.
Proud to my
How long did you work there?
I worked down there possibly a couple of times in '69. Probably I worked down there '67 and '68. You know, I came over here in '69, May of '69. I worked in May of '69.
What was what did men's hairstyles look like?
Then most of our style was a flat top, and they had another one called a collision. That was the major hairstyle. We had later on we had other styles that different names, but the haircuts were basically the same.
And what was that? Tell me, describe what that was like.
Well, we had what we call older people had. Some of the older men still wearing what you call a tip knot here in the front. This hair was cut close on the sides. You comb this forward, you hit the tip knot, you cut all that out, then you comb it backwards. And that would lay there and blend in with the close haircut on the side. Now that particular haircut, I didn't have a name for it, and I don't have a name for it today. But and then Mr. Cleve, one of my earlier customers, he wore what he called a heavy to the right. And I remember that specifically because when he got in my chair, he was kind of a heavy set man, heavy voice, and kind of reminded, his built similar to Santa Claus.
Uh-huh.
And he got up in my chair and he told me, "Son, give me a heavy to the right." So first thing I did, I paused and I looked at Nate. Nate laughed. He kind of finally looked up. He said, "Oh, Bradley, it's this. Cut it close on the side, part it here, comb the hair to the right. That's what a heavy right." But when I got out of school, I didn't know that because they didn't teach that in school. The name of that in school. There's been a lot of changes for us, the way people wear their hair, but a haircut, the basic of a haircut is still the same, but there are different styles. Beards are popular now, but when I was younger in the business, a lot of the older men would shave, they was getting shaved at the barber shop. And it wasn't a real popular for me then. And as the years went on, it kind of shave started kind of falling off. But beards are popular now.
Did you learn how to do that shave with that razor
I did.
in barber school?
It was taught when I was in barber school. It was taught. It was a must. It's not required now to learn the razor or facial shave. But when I went to barber school, that was one of the requirements.
Do you do that much anymore?
I still have customers get it, but it's not as popular now as it have been.
What is that called when you get your face shaved like that?
Most people refer to it as a razor shave.
And it's a blade.
Yes, straight razor.
When did you move to this location?
May of '69.
Okay. So you were a really young man.
When I started with John Wardrop downtown there, I actually was 18 years old. Just about to turn 20 when I graduated. Immediately after graduation, because I graduated high school, and I spent it 9 months in school. And after that, I immediately started working down there. So I was probably 19, 20 in that bracket.
So this building that we're in right now, did you build this?
I did.
And you were still really young.
I was really young.
Yeah.
I was, I graduated school in barber school in '66, and I worked for John '67, '68, and Potion '69.
So did you buy this property or did you?
I did.
Who did you buy it from?
Miss Mary Morris Howard. When I bought this property, need to know that?
Yeah.
I brought this property, Miss Mary Morris. This was a V-shaped lot, triangle shape. When I bought it, it was growed up with sage grass and little local bushes. I forget the width when I bought it from you, but I know it was 72 feet across the front, and the width in the back, I forgot. But anyway, it's triangle shape. And she charged me $1,500. That's what I paid for the first lot. And I cleaned it off manually. Sage grass and local bushes that had grew up here. But I remember the kids passing me and knew me laughing at me and sweating.
And then how did you build this?
I borrowed the money to build. The first portion of this building cost $3,500. I borrowed the money from FHA, a man named Mr. Grover Estes. My Uncle Rush and Mr. Boyce Jackson constructed this building for me. It first was down the hill. It sit on concrete blocks up so high. Even when I parked it on the front, kind of like that. I didn't have the property over there then. My customer used to have to park on the street down here. So that went on for a few years. And later on, sorry I don't remember the date, I rented that portion over there. Well, it used to be a house over there, but they found two it down. I rented over part because the city was owned by my cousin parking on the street. So lady that was in that kin to Miss Hattie Sanders, She lived in Chicago. She's originally from it, but she moved to Chicago. She was a Sanders. I paid her $600 to park out there for several years. Then eventually she passed away, and her son took over, and I think I paid him 1 year. And I don't know what happened to him, but he wasn't collecting the rent anymore. And later on, the Sanders, I think the most of them had passed away, brother. And the guy that was in charge had, he told me, Mr. Bradley, I'm not coming back to Mississippi to live. All my people are kind of drawn out, passed away. And I'm the only one paying taxes. And the taxes are due. Said, as far as I'm concerned, you pay the back taxes and all that for the amount of years that you have to, so I paid the tax for a while. So I got where I could get it. That's how I got parking lot 20 here in the next house over there. This was literally a hole at the building.
On top of that.
Right. And then, you know, after I worked here about 69 to about 79, well, I was sitting here like I am now one day. I said, I'm not satisfied. I said, I'm not satisfied. So I took a piece of notebook paper and drew the building sitting here today. And Mr. Martin was a contractor. So I took that little piece of paper, I think it was a yellow piece of paper, ledger like she writing on there. I said, Mr. Martin, can you build this? And he said, sure, bro, I can build that.
So did the first building, did you add on to it, or did you?
That front is added on, and
Okay.
the basement is added on.
Okay,
This building had a full basement,
okay,
but that was added. That's how high this building, it was down low. And we got Mr. Dan Elder from Tipper County. He come down, I had him come down here. Asked him could he raise this building on street level. And he raised it up on street level. Then Mr. Martin, you know, built the foundation around here, and that's how that put that front part on. That was in '79.
so the part we're sitting in right now was the original,
The
it was
original.
just this one small space,
14 by 20.
and you had two chairs always in
Always
here?
had that chair.
Who else has been in this chair with you? Or, I mean, been in this chair?
Let's see if I can remember now. My brother-in-law, Toy Lee McKinney, he was one of them. My cousin, Willie Joe Brad, that worked here. No, first person you was John Waldrop.
Okay,
So I need to back up to John a bit. John worked up here with me from May to November. Then he got sick. They said probably was a heart attack. He died in November '69. So he was the first one who worked here. And then my brother-in-law, Toy Lee McKinney, worked up here. My cousin, Willie Joe. I think that's all worked up here. In the early, when I first got here. For a long time I worked here by myself. At one time, Mr. Gibson and his son and me and I was only licensed barbers here for a long time. And after Mr. Gibson got in his old age, wasn't functioning well, I worked here by myself on the legal shop for years. That was open 79. I'm almost sure it's 79, maybe 80. And we started with both women and me. I have two sons, but one deceased now. My oldest son worked here for a short while. Then he went to Tupelo, he worked for his uncle. He wanted toilet. My baby son, after he graduated from Boston, and we all went to Boston. My baby son worked here until his demise. Then after his demise, my oldest son came back to Tupelo. He works here now.
What is your busiest time?
Well, that's the part I like about this business. To be successful in the era I came through, the key to it was being here. Now, most in the early year, Friday, Saturday were your business time. In other words, if you miss Saturday, you missed the week because of the pay scale when I first started. When I first started, most people were getting paid Friday, Saturday. That's when we were working 7, 11, 12 o'clock on Saturday night. When I started cutting hair with John Waldrop, the children were paying 50 cents. Adults were paying 65 cents. And I think they were getting 65 or 75 cents for a shave.
What's a haircut cost today?
Our base haircut, we charge $20, $15 to $20. And I'm probably the cheapest in town.
Yeah.
I know it. When I came along, it wasn't but two of us, the Gibsons, and Mr. Charlie Ray. All I know here now is solely black owned is two. But there are a lot of black barbershop here. Most of them is Martha plus Mr. Gibson. I guess the first legit barber I ever knew. Him and Mr. Charlie Ray. Mr. Gibson, big thing I remember about him, he was fast, he popped that towel, cake well, and holler next. And he was fast with the clothes.
What was the atmosphere like that you remember when you would go to, his shop?
Well, then the barbershop is kind of like it is today. It was kind of like the country club where everybody told their jokes. It kind of like the club. We served them, they had been drinking their liquor. It's kind of funny. Most people, they talked about they hunting dogs, and literally tried to out-talk each other, and they were kind of loud. But the thing about Mr. Gibson's barbershop, I can't say a lot about it because when I was 18 years old, I hadn't been to New Orleans too many times.
You hadn't been into town so many times?
Well, before, like to hang out, stuff
Yeah.
like that. My parents didn't get to hang out a lot around town. Now when they came a lot on Saturday night to buy groceries, they let us ride up in and sit in the backseat of the car till they get the groceries.
Where would they buy groceries?
Most of down on there was a store downtown on the corner, across from Sharps. I can't even remember the name of it right now. And then they bought some groceries out there in Highland Country back then. We had what we call the rolling stuff. They come out of the house.
What do you remember about the rolling store?
Man, my mother and them would buy bases from the rolling store, and sometimes they could trade eggs and stuff for maybe some meals, something that the rolling store had. The biggest thing I remember about my little brother, my mother always taught her early about how to try to do business. So one day she sent him, let him go meet the rolling store, because he's come up in our yard. She gave him money to get whatever she sent for him. There were 50 cents left. back then you get penny candy. And he 50 cents for 50 seconds. Guess who got checked? Him and the Rolling Stone man. Early days, church was a popular conversation in the barber shop, and whatever things were going on in the community, those things were talked about. But the big thing when I first started, most people were farmers, so a lot of the conversation was about farming and, you know, raising cows and cotton and corn and who they worked for. I always said that the conversation has changed a lot. I went, the gospel has ceased tremendously in my life. And it's more constructive talk today than when I first began.
How many years has he been cutting your hair?
He started cutting my hair, I guess, when I was, me and my brothers, it was 4 of us. And when we first opened the barber shop, he used to be down where the old pool hall used to be. He started cutting my hair when I was 7 or 8, something like that.
So you go all the way back to the pool hall days.
Yes, ma'am. And back then, the haircut then, the style was a flat top. And my dad would carry us all over there, and we get the flat top. I hated it. When I went to school, you know how they get them kids are, they call you square head and flat tops and all that. And I hated that flat top haircut. But, you know, I had to do what my dad said. I was respectful as a young man. Learn that now, but I hated that flat top. But I got it. As soon as I got a chance to get out of getting a flat top, I got a regular haircut. But, yes, sir, he been cutting my hair since I was around 7 or 8, I guess. And I'm 61 now, so I don't mind telling my age. But,
What kind of hairstyle did you want?
well, at that time, it wasn't really many hairstyles at that time. You know, either a ball fade, was how I keep it now low, and close on the side. You know, back then, most of them wore it long in the afro, you know, however you wanted it. But as a kid, I guess we wanted it low. We called it low fade, like it is now, just low and close to the side back then. But that's what I wanted. But I had to do what my dad said. So he said flat top, that's what we got, flat tops. Yes, man.
Kind of like you got now.
Yeah.
Back then, we called it collision in school. Kind of like what you got.
How many people do you think, like, the biggest crowd you've had in here?
What's the big crowd we ever had? Well, I have had all those folks in one sitting room over there, and people waiting outside to get in. They hadn't done it in a little while, but I don't have a number specific.
Well, we have a great time in the barbershop. We talk sports a lot.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Hey, we talk sports a lot.
When I first started with dogs,
We talk
Hundo. Yeah, most people talk about football. I think that's the most talked about, football. Basketball and football. But I think football talked about more than basketball.
How many more years do you think you're going to do this?
I have no earthly idea at this point. Only thing I know is the long end is there, back there, and the short end is in the front. So I'm 77 now, so I can't be much longer. But I don't have a target date.
Yeah.
Give it up.
You just said that y'all used to talk about hunting dogs.
Yeah, that was a big thing when I first started cutting hair back in 66, 67, on up. A lot of my customers coon hunters, rabbit hunters. Deer park got popular later on, but I started, just the older men, they like to hunt coon at night. And then some cousins, they ran, a few of my cousins ran, I didn't get the gist of that, but they used to run fox for some reason.
You said that Coach Kennedy used to come and hunt with your brother,
Yeah.
and did he teach you how to hunt?
No, I don't know how to hunt.
You don't?
I don't even know how to shoot a gun. Yeah, Mr. Kennedy and my brother, they would hunt for, Mr. Kennedy liked to shoot squirrel. And my brother, oldest brother, did a lot of fishing because Mr. Bailey that lived, they had property adjoining my parents' property. They used to go fishing at night, bring back tubs of fish. I think Mr. Bailey fished for the sport.
Do you still live in the Shiloh community?
No, man. I live in Belleville, what they call Chesterfield community. I've been driving back and forth from Belleville here since '69. Oh, by the way, I walked the old road that they did before, right? I got married in '69, December 14, '69. I married Jenny Marie McKinney.
And where was she from?
Belleville. She lived in this Chesterfield area when I met her. Believe it or not, we met at church. My brother taught me her sister. So we had gone to church. I think I went to church. Either I went to church with him, or either we met at the same church. He was talking to her sister. And they introduced me to Jenny, my wife. And that's how we met.
And did your brother end up with her sister?
No.
That didn't work out.
It didn't work. But the good thing is, besides, when I went to Foster College and Baldwin College, I paid him back.
How's that?
I was talking to a girl at school. So I brought the girl and her cousin to New Orleans, and I introduced him to his wife, Maxine. They ended up getting married.
That was the girl or her cousin?
That was her. The girl that I was talking to.
Okay, okay.
That girl, I didn't get. He's my firstborn. He, if I remember right, got him in '76. Over that grunt. You were 72. Yeah, he said my second son, 76. And when my wife and I decided to live in Belton, my ambition was to have a second shop in Tupelo. But this shop was new, and John working with me. We were here in May. John died the following November. So with my little thinking, it didn't make sense to leave this shop vacant and try to get a new shop, because at that time it wasn't another shop here that was running full time, because Mr. Gibson had gotten open. And that's the period I worked for here a long time. I was on the legal barber here for many years.
What time do you get to work every day?
Usually I'm here at 8 o'clock.
Do you take a lunch break?
Hardly ever. I bring lunch.
Don't worry about it.
Sometimes I bring lunch, either I go out for lunch.
When you first opened the shop here, what was this neighborhood like?
Crowded. Was a house on it that close together. It's always been a friendly neighborhood, but it was heavily populated when I come here.
Do you remember the other businesses that were in this neighborhood?
I do. I remember a lot of them. I think Miss Boo's grocery store, the most functional one since I've been here. I remember it used to be I think it was Jones on a little grocery store on the corner right over there where the house is on the corner. And of course Miss Howard was always up here. We call it the snack bar. And they have a place up where you call the Tropicana up on the hill there. And those are the ones that I remember.
Miss Howard, that's who you bought the land from?
That's
Same
right.
Miss Howard?
Same.
Was that the hotel? Did she own the,
Right.
up there?
Right, it was just a snack bar. Then and a resident there, she ran what we call a snack bar, and she sold, milkshakes and stuff like that sort. Snacks. I also used to live down Oak Street, and she sold clothes and everything.
Really?
That was attached to her house.
Like women's clothes or
Yes, ma'am.
everybody's clothes?
Yeah, most women. I don't think she didn't sell men.
Thank you, sir. That make me look good for the camera. I just said that.
We got your before and after.
Yeah, I know it, right?
What do you call that little brush that you brush everything off with?
We call it a neck duster.
Thank you, Mr. B.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the interview.